Okay, I think we can start. Nobody else is joining. Hello.
It's okay. Hello.
Yeah. So let's just skip the introduction part because we all generally know each other. So
Hmm.
okay, directly going into the topics. So whenever you we go for survey, the surveyor actually gives you the information, that is the survey points and everything else, whatever they have after the detailed survey has been done. So this
Hmm.
session, session will be based on the civil 3D only. How we can import and do our job done in civil 3D. So for that, I'll share you these details. These are the details of Kabong Karinga project, where the topographical survey has been just completed, and we have this data. This is for 20 kilometers only, bus, but this is the type of survey data what we get. Just opening any one of the drawings. Okay, now before, okay, just let this drawing open. I hope all of you can see the screen which I have shared, right?
Yes.
Okay, so just let this drawing load.
Yes, I know.
Okay, this is the general setup of the civil 3D screen. Okay, now if you see on this left side, this is known as tool space. Here you get 4 different tabs. Generally, these tabs you can add or delete from settings. The first one is prospector. This gives you the settings of this particular current drawing. Whatever you are, the design parameters are there, that will be in this particular prospector tab. Okay, I'll get you one by one, but just for the brief introduction, and then going to this particular, this is the settings tab. This is the generic settings of civil 3D. Whatever you set, for example, not only in this particular drawing, but from here you can set a style drawing, everything else. I mean, a point style or a reference, any styling or any settings which you change in civil 3D, that can be changed directly from here. This is not respect to a particular drawing. Okay, if you see this window gives you the view of all this, though these things are generally not required in any of the tool, but for your information, this gives you a couple of options. One is this active drawing settings. This means whatever you are drawing, changing in this particular area, in settings area, and if this one is selected, it will change only in this particular drawing, not in your civil 3D template or a generic file which you, whenever you open a civil 3D, what happens is, I think some of us having issues with the internet. Just a minute. Is everybody connected and stable now? I can see Maria, your net is somewhat disturbing. Uh, anyway, I'll send you the recordings of this session so that if you have missed any part of it, you will get the information about the same. Now coming on to this survey tab. This is something which is needed if you want to check the survey data within Civil 3D. This usually we don't do because you need to create some field book entries and you need to have a lot of information from the site to have this window actually working for you. So let us skip this one. This is not required. The data which you get from the survey, they are already cross-checked and DTM, and I'll show you some methods to check the survey data also. And then finally, you have this tab. This is a tab which gives you the output of anything, any design parameter you want to take an output, you need to go in this tab. We'll go one by one in this tab also in later session. This, this is called a ribbon tab. This is common for all AutoCAD applications. Only these parameters will change. But all the AutoCAD applications have this ribbon window in it. I'm not getting, I mean, you guys are getting it or not, please respond. If you have any, I have unmuted everyone. Now, this is the survey data which we get from the surveyor. First of all, they have done some DTM and preliminary alignment, everything. So we'll just delete everything. We'll do our own detailing and survey whatever we need from this. So first of all, you just go to this particular point and right click on it. Just export all the points. We need all the points first of all. This is the window which is opens up. Let's say this is the point format in which you need your data. This states that point number, northing, easting, Z means elevation, and D is the description. So in this setup, we need the output of the data. Just select any folder. Don't do this elevation adjustment and coordinate. Uh,
Please note, this session is being recorded.
I'm muting some of you because I think there is an echo coming in. So if you need to speak, either you can unmute from your window or you can chat me and I'll open it for you. Now, once my points are exported, just check whether your points have been exported or not. So these are all my points which are being exported. So right now from this drawing, actually I need to clean up this drawing. So I'm just deleting this, the points which are already in the drawing. See, for designing, if you say your surveyor that this is your preliminary requirement and this is the data set what you need is a cleaned up base plan which shows only the line work and the physical parameters, whatever is there. Then you need a point file which gives you information about the XYZ of that particular location and the description of it. These are the only two things which you need from the surveyor. Rest of the things you need to create it. I'm just waiting for the Civil 3D to just do it exporting part. Okay, while this Civil 3D exports, if you have any questions, you can ask in the meantime how what is the data or related to this data and survey or that window at least at till this point, whatever I have shown you right now, till now. Anybody, any questions? This process actually takes some time before rebuilding anything or exporting into Civil 3D takes some time. So bear with me, even if the very high configuration systems also this particular stucks do anything in it. So in the meantime, I would highly appreciate if anybody has some questions you can ask while this particular thing exports. Okay, I think finally this has been completed. Now you can delete this surface also, whatever things are there. I'm just saving it as base plan. Remember, these are all the prerequisites for starting up of your design. The design will start later, but these things has to be done. Now you need to delete all these things, these additional changes, texts. The reason being that you're going to prepare a DTM out of it. Now DTM means it will take the elevation. So irrespective of whatever text it is, this Civil 3D or AutoCAD will consider these as entities. So if these text have a Z value of 0, then it will create your DTM to be 0 at that point. The elevation of the DTM to be taken as 0 at that point. So select similar these, erase all of these. Just delete all of these. You need to clean up all the drawings whichever is not having a Z value. This one is the alignment which is created by the surveyor. You need to delete it all. And remember, this is the case for all the surveys. Whenever you do surveys, the surveyor do their cross-checking parameters and then give it to you the data. So you need to remove all these design parameters, whatever has been already designed by the surveyor. Check your data before starting up the design. These are lines of electric poles, and this will not affect your DTM. So you need to delete all these lines. Remember, whatever points which do not have a Z value, or the Z values are not such which are of natural ground. For example, the electric lines, poles, fences, these you need to remove from your drawing. The one which you need to create for a DTM. Once everything is cleaned, you need to have a command PURGE. You can write up this command. This command actually what it does is it clears off all the empty layers, whatever it's not relevant, or you suppose you are having a layer but you have deleted the contents of it. So you need to delete that layer. So purge command will do the same for you. It will delete all unnecessary zero items in the layers, zero layers which do not have any data. So it will bring down your file size. That is well in your Civil 3D. Purge all items. I hope this command you must be knowing if you are using an AutoCAD. Just save it. So now we have the base plan and the DTM, so we can start up with the design. The first step, whenever you are designing, this is the Civil 3D interface when you open it up. The first step is just create new. It will create a new drawing. Okay, I would highly recommend you to set up a folder like this one in your one particular drive, whatever drive you want. That should not be C drive. The drive in which your Windows is there, please do not attach this Civil 3D folder in that drive. Okay, you create a Civil 3D folder like this one, as you can see on screen, and inside it, all your projects are there, whatever projects you are working on. So this, how to create these projects, this I will show, but this is a manually created folder. Okay, so you name it anything, it doesn't matter, but whatever you are naming, that should be consistent. So now you see this is a new drawing. Data shortcuts, right click on it. You might not be seeing this one because you need to set this one. Once you have created a folder, for example Civil 3D project, You just right click on it and set working folder. For the first, if you are doing this for the first time, you need to do this set working folder, and then you can just show it up to, say for example, this is my folder. Okay, and say okay. So this will be your master project folder. You will not see like this one. You will only see D and Civil 3 projects because you are not having any project right now. If you are doing it for the first time, then you go again, right click, new data shortcut project folder. This is the folder of any particular project which you are creating. For example, right now I'm creating for a trial project. Let's say a trial. Give a name. If you want a description, say for example, this can be anything. If you want to set the coordinate system or coordinate zoning or anything which you need to identify it later on to describe this project. So that's it. It's an optional. You can give it or not. It will show you where your template folders are there. This is a public domain project folders. Uh, just a minute. Okay, now it's fine. I have muted some of you. Please unmute if you want to speak. Now, after creating this folder, the moment you create this folder, you will see a trial folder here. Then the third step is you go right click on it again and then associate project with the current drawing. This, you will get a window like this. It will, so say for example, I am having a number of projects, so you will see all the projects listed here. You select the this drawing to be attached with which particular project and then say okay. The moment you attach this particular drawing to a project folder, you will see that after the file name, you will see this project name is also there. This means this particular drawing has now been attached to this particular project, whatever project you are. Now save the drawing. Go to Civil 3. Now you will see there is a project folder which is, oh, instead of trail it is, okay, the spelling. Anyway, the spelling mistake is there. I assume just say DWG, make a new folder out of it. See, this is what it depends on the designer who is designing it. The folder and the naming hierarchies, it will be different for person to person. But I would highly recommend that you organize your files in a particular manner so that you can, you know, anybody who uses your folder can get an idea that what you are doing. So organization is something which is important. So inside this project folder, create a folder which is DWG. Now you can write it drawing also, but try to keep the name short, as because of that there's till Windows 10. It's supposed 255 characters of naming. So the moment you keep on increasing the folder names and names and the names, the file name will also increase. And after 255 characters, it will be not associating with any of the drawing. So it will create a mess later on. But I would like you guys to do, create a very long name and see what problems it have. Just check for checking. Then you need to create another folder which is ALN, that is for alignment. Okay. Then I'll create one with for DTM, that is the, and then PRF. This is for profile. So now what I'm going to do is I'll first create the DTM. So for that, I'll save my drawing inside it and name it as DTM. Save this one. Once this is saved, go back to your folder. We have created some this and these two drawings. Copy them and bring back to your original trail. These are my backup files. You can rename them survey or backup or anything else. I'm just keeping it here only, but you can rename and organize as you wish. Remember, this is not my design drawing. These are only the backups for the drawings. Now again, go to your DTM drawing. Now it's time to have all the data. Okay, for that, first of all, we'll bring out the points. For that, go to points. Okay, by the way, if you cannot see this top line, go to this small button here and say, if you see like this only, then you go here and click on it, show menu bar. Sometimes it happens that you will not be able to see this top line. Okay, now go to points, import and export points, and say import points. You need to remember which file format you have given. Okay, I'll show you how to make these file formats in some different sessions, not this one. Now you go to your wherever you have your data files, trail, WG, DTM, PNZ. Open this one. Now you need to select that same file format here also, PNZD. Okay, you can cross check everything is. Don't do these two things. Please remember, these two things are something which, so this is done when, you know, if you are having a common error, say for example, you have surveyed and then you came up with an error of 0.2, which is in all the common points, so then you can use that one, but please don't use any of these two commands in right now in the design files, and just say okay. You see, all the points have now came into your particular drawing file. Now this is tr, this is tree, this you need to remove from your DTM file. Select similar and just erase it. Once the points are in place, just go to all points and properties, say none. One thing, you might not be able to see these n number of settings here. These are already predefined, so, and some of them are created by myself. So if no issues if you cannot see it, but the basic and the standard, these two will be there in all of the drawings. I'll show you how to create them in some different styling. I'll take one session for this styling of this Civil 3D. In that, I'll show you how these point styles and everything, whatever styles are there. Just get into this one first. Set both none, apply, and then say OK. All the points are in this particular drawing, but the display is off. Now it's time to bring on your DTM lines. Open this drawing. This plan, open it. Copy the contents of this drawing. Actually, the window is stuck. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'll sort that. Yes, of course, Peter. Is Peter there? Yeah, Peter, I get your message. I'll try to send you the recordings of this particular uh, session to everybody. If this at all, I mean, I'm also using this one for the first time, this recording session. I'm not sure about what it is recording, but anyway, I've switched it on. If it records, I'll send you the recordings. Copy these data and just paste it to the original coordinates. So now we have the points in place and the lines in place. Now we are going to prepare the DTM of this particular file. The things which you should remember before preparing the DTM is anything which is crossing, crisscrossing like this one. This is a marking of the culvert. Okay, you need the marking of the culvert, but not in DTM drawings. Okay, so just remove them. Anything which is crisscrossing, you need to remove them. The reason being that whenever you are creating a DTM, these lines will be assigned as something which is called a break line. Now, what is the break line? The break line is something, which says that your survey, the points. What Civil 3D does is whenever you insert points in them, it will try to triangulate these points. Triangulate means, okay, one question for all of you. I'm saying it uh, a number of times, that triangulate, triangulate, triangulate. You need to answer me why it is only triangulate. Why not any other figure? If you know the answers or whatever it is, just tell me. Okay, then, but for the time being, you just remember it triangulates, and there is a definitive answer for that. I need the answer from you guys. If you have read the surveys and everything else, it will be in that one only. Particularly to the ladies which have gone to Karinga for the topo survey, I expect them to answer because they have been to site with the surveyors for this one. Okay, now, yes, about break lines. There are two, three types of break lines. So first of all, the break line is an entity which says your Civil 3D or defines the limit of triangulation in the Civil 3D. So if you are having, say, for example, 3 points, uh, let me switch on the points. It will be better to explain there. Okay, the moment you say that you prepare give the command to the Civil 3D to prepare a survey DTM, then what it does is it just creates a triangulation. It may be any points. I'm just randomly selecting 3 points like this. Okay, and one more point can be like this also. The triangulation can be done in any points. But the moment you select this as a break line, these triangulations will terminate on this line. Nothing will, no triangulation boundary will cross this break line. So that's the point of break lines. You need to break the triangulation. Now, why you need to break the triangulation is there is an important parameter to this one. Okay, just let me open up one of the drawing. Okay, I hope you can see this one. See what happens is generally this is your road. Okay, this is the section of the road. Now the surveyor has given you point somewhere here, somewhat here, this point, and maybe this point. Okay, this is a cross section, and in this cross section the surveyor has given you points in this one. The moment if you, now these are the lines of the break lines, you see, just relate to this one, these are these lines. Okay, these points denotes the these continuous lines. Now once you give the civil 3D to make a surface, the command to make a surface, these lines will be joined, you know, it can create a triangulation like this. Sorry for that poor drawing, but this is something it expected to be a triangle. Okay, so this is one triangle. So civil 3D can directly interpolate these lines like this. This might be also one triangle. What happens is if you triangulate this one, you know, once you triangulate, there's 3 points. These 3 points have a z value, so it will create a plane there. That means on every this intersection points you can get a level. Okay, since it is going from this, say for example 100 to, say for example 98 or something, whatever it may be, then in all these points you will get a level. But in physically it shouldn't be like that. You should not get level on this one. So there comes the concept of break lines. The moment you introduce these particular lines, I mean these are the lines of this one, the moment you introduce these as the break lines, it will break your survey. It will not triangulate this line directly. So whatever on the left of a break line will triangulate with the entities on the left. So for example, if I consider this break line, whatever points are in this side, this will be triangulating among themselves. Whatever points are on the right side of it, it will triangulate among themselves. But these two will not cross each other. So that's the concept of break lines. Now the break lines can be of primarily of two types. One is proximity, another one is standard. Whatever I am speaking, you can just simply, if you want to know the concept of break line, just search it for in your help file. You will get the break lines. Okay. In Civil 3D itself, if you search for break line, you will get the information about the break lines and what it does. But still, you have two types of break lines. One is standard, one is proximity. Proximity means it is a 2D line. It only have the x and y, and the z value is taken from the proximity of the surface on which that break line is present. And the standard means it have all the three coordinates x, y, z. So in simple terms, proximity is a 2D line and standard is a 3D line. Then there are n number of things. One is also there which you will not use, that is a wall type. That means you will triangulate only on one side, another side is there is nothing. So that is considered to be a wall type of break line, but you don't need them. So just switch it off again. Now the point where we started, why we need to remove the crossing lines. See, that means whenever it is a break line, it will have a level. Okay. Now, if my two break lines are crossing like this, so this break line on the surface will give you what a value of elevation. Okay. Say, for example, it is going from 100 to 99, so it will be in between 100 and 99. Okay. And now from this break line, it might be crossing from 101 to 102, depending upon the scenario. So you will have this particular line will have a value of between 101 and 102, and from this you have between 100 and 119. So at this point you will have two elevations, which is not possible physically, unless you are on a cliff or something like that, where you have same xy but two z values. So it is not possible in this road. So that's why it is recommended that none of your break lines should cross each other. Though we have an option in Civil 3D that we can use the intermediate value between these two levels, or an average value in between these two levels, but it is highly recommended that you remove all the crossing thing. Just break it. Say for example, if you are having something like this, just just you need to break them so that it will be like simply like this one. Just break them on all the ends. That's the thing. So remove this part. Now you need to make sure that we always try to have a 2D drawing. Okay, now it's up to your wish if you consider that this survey data, but then you need to check the entire survey data, that any line shouldn't be having a zero elevation, or elevation which is, you know, if you are on that area or in this anything, you will know that this is the probable range of my elevations. So if you see anything which is an outlier for that particular elevation range, then you can exclude it, or you need to check all of these lines. What if you are using a standard one? We are going to use a proximity one. So I'll change everything to a 2D line. So for that you have a command flatten. Okay, select everything. This will take some time, I guess. Always select no here, and then leave the drawing for a couple of minutes. So it will keep the xy same and the z values to be 0. Okay, this is something which you should do. Okay, in the DTM drawing, in the base plan drawing first, convert it to 2D line and then bring it to Civil 3D. That will be an easier part, because this one is having points also. So now it's replacing all the points, whatever it has, you know, the z values in it.
Please note, this session is being recorded.
Okay, now I need to sit down and I have done it again. Just original coordinates. Okay, now first save these drawings. And you need to remember that you need to save your drawing quite a bit. Uh, you get an habit of pressing Control and save, because sometimes what happens is Civil 3D closes by itself without giving any error or warning or message, because due to the limitations of the hardware which it is having. So if the hardware stucks, so Civil 3D just closes out itself. Now you are having the point files in the drawing, and these lines are 2D lines. I have made them 2D in the separate drawing and then bring it to the Civil 3D. Now again go to surface and say create surface. we'll come up with this one. Just rename the surface as anything which is DTM or whatever name you want to give it. The moment you give this survey, create this survey, it creates a DTM here, the name of the surface, whatever name you have given. This one right now is a dummy surface. It doesn't have any data. So we need to insert the break lines as well as the point files if you have contours or whatever things. You know the definition. This is the definition which defines this surface. You can have a boundary, a break line, a contour, a DEM file, that digital elevation models, a drawing object, a 3D drawing objects, or anything of that kind. So this now you need to add a point file in it. So I would highly recommend you that you create, go to the point groups, create a new group, rename it as a DTM. Why I'm creating, you can always add all points also, but it is better that you create a group which is for DTM. So anything you need to say, for example, you need to remove the tree, you can just use these commands. It has a number of options. Either want to you exclude with numbers matching, that is the point number, or elevation matching, or names, or raw description, anything you can do in this one. If you are doing in all points, you do not have the option to remove some of the points to give to have the specific DTM or not. So right now what I am saying is include all points and say apply. So it will have all the points that are in this particular drawing file you have imported. For the time being, take all the points. The moment I'll share you with the point code lists and everything of this particular survey data once I get it from the surveyor, so that we can decide that which points we need to remove or which points we need to keep, and say okay. Then go by this sequence only. We don't have a boundary. Now for the break lines, add break lines. Whatever name you can give it, it's a description just for you. I'll select as a proximity ones and then select the files. Enter. You see, it will create an ASD which will have the definition of all these lines as a break line. Now go to your point groups and add points. I have my DTM one selected, apply it and say OK. Now Civil 3D will create a surface out of the information which you have fed into the system. That is the break lines as well as the point groups. So let it calculate for some time and it will create something. We can change it. Okay. First of all, close the display of this one. Say no. Yeah. Now you have this one as your survey. Select anywhere here. Change the properties of the survey. This is survey surface properties. It will open up a window like this. Select contours and triangles. In that one, select this pull down menu and just copy the settings. I am preparing one new which will only show my triangulations, not the contour. I don't want to see the contours. Just rename it. That's it. And then you go to display and just switch it off. I only need the borders and the triangulations. That's it. Okay. Say okay. Select triangulations are selected. Okay. So you see, this is the triangulation. Now this is what I was talking about. You see, this point is taking a triangulation with if you see this is 300 400 meters apart. I don't want these triangulations. These are very lengthy triangulations. Usually our limit is restricted to 50 meters or the maximum survey extent what we can get, but that depends on site to site. So what I'll do is, okay, the thing is you can leave this survey as it is here also, but if you are doing these triangulations will give you a wrong elevation difference. So it is recommended that you clear up these lines. There is an automatic process of clearing also, but that I'll show later. Go to this edit, right click on it, say delete lines. I'm selecting all these additional lines, whichever is lengthier, and press enter. You see these have deleted all this line. I'm quickly doing it, but you need to do when you're doing it for a project. You need to do this very carefully because all the quantities and everything which will be done on later stages. For example, the profile, the cross sections, the quantities, everything will depend on the DTM. So this DTM has to be an absolutely uh, you know error free so that everything else will be on right scale. Okay, I'm just randomly deleting these things, the longer lines. These will be only deleted, but you need to check when you are doing for a project. I'll give you the data and expect everybody will complete your DTM surfaces and then send it back to me so that we can have a look at it and if anything is problematic or not. Now, first phase of my drawing is over. So this is how I have created my DTM. So the thing is, this DTM will, I need to check this DTM that whether whatever I have created it is right or wrong. So just save it and then you go to your this one data shortcut folder again and say create data shortcut. So what I'm creating is a shortcut of this DTM so that I can use it in any other drawings wherever I need. Those drawings will have only the reference of of this DTM. We cannot change there. I'll show you how. Just say this surface and DTM, select it and say okay. That's it. Save the drawing. Now open another drawing. This one. And say let's new drawing. First save as this drawing. This is DTM CHGCK. Check. Okay. DTM check. Okay. Now I'll also attach this drawing to the project. Associate to the current project. This is true for all the drawings you are for the particular project. The alignment, the profile, the cross section, whatever you do, just attach it to the project. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. The moment you just go here, select the detail and say create reference. It will give you a message like this one. What is the display? I don't need anything here. So I'll say just no display. Okay. Sorry for that. Some error. My God. Somehow there is an issue with this drawing, I think. Yeah. So this drawing is now having my DTM which is referenced. Now go back to your base plan drawing. I need the center line. So how to check this DTM? So what I'll do is to check this DTM, I'll define this center line of the existing road to be a center line for just for design check, and I see the profile of it. It should not have any kink like thing in the profile or any sudden increment or decrement in the elevation values. The moment my profile is okay, then I'll draw the cross sections of it and see all the cross sections if they are okay. It should not have any kink or anything like that. So first of all, I need to define these ones. Lay ISO, make it as a polyline. So here comes the issue. Sometimes what happens is the point which surveyor gives, Civil 3D will not allow you to make it as a polyline or an alignment or something like that, a design parameter, for example. The reason being that this line somewhere must be containing a point which is self-crossing itself. What I mean to say that so is these are the nodes. It must be having some points which is like this. You see, you cannot. AutoCAD will make this as a polyline, but it will not take a design alignment because you're having something which is like this one. To remove this, go back to your drawing files and okay, I'll filter out the data which is only my center line. Just check in the drawing what is your X and Y. So this is my X. I'll copy this Now here you can see, I'm going to show you something which if you face any difficulty understanding that one, just tell it to me. See, generics of this alignment. Wait, this is your x direction. Okay, if I say it correctly, this is your this is my x direction going in. My alignment is more aligned towards the x direction, and then it goes y direction. Okay, sometimes the alignment maybe, if you see, it might be like this one, this sort of alignment. So here my predominant direction of alignment is y direction, but in this case my predominant direction is x and then y. Okay, this is needed. Why? I need to sort all these lines. Okay, all these points, sorry, all these points to have a polyline of it. Now what I mean to tell is, this is what the surveyor has taken the data of. If you just simply in the order of the survey, okay, if you just simply do just x and y and draw a polyline out of it, okay, now you see this is what this polyline is creating, these lines, because this x and y, the way the surveyor has given you, this is in the order of in which the surveyor has collected the points. Okay, there may be 2 or 3 teams working together, so they will collect all the data and just bundle them in an order in which they have taken the survey. It might not be in the direction of the chainage, okay, as you go on the chainage. So to rectify these errors, okay, it will not be resorted 100%, but predominantly my alignment is on going increasing on the x direction then on y direction. So what I'll do is just simply delete this line, sort this data, just sort this data, go here, sort. This is my column I is my x direction. So sort first by x direction and add a level and then sort by y direction. Okay, I'm telling you again and again, if you find it any difficulty understanding the thing, you can call me or we can have another session, or you can ask in this one also in later stages. And if you are in front of computer, just try to do this one. Okay, you are not having the data. Anyway, I'll send you the data later on. Now see, if I do it like this way, it will remove the error. In the maximum limit, it will remove the error. But in some cases, you will still find that error, because if you see this part of the alignment, in this part, the y value is predominant. And since we are making it with respect to z x value, so that's why this particular graph is coming. So no issues. Major part of the alignment is rectified. So I'll just change the color to a contrasty so that I can have a look at it where it is changing. Now at initial stage, I don't need the data of the initial stage to check my survey for this part. Just make it as a continuous line. Break this one, join with this one. P this, join this and this. This must be something error in joining. Quickly just do this one. This segment has joined. Now you have an issue in this part. So break the alignment here and just break it here. Delete this one. What I'll do is I'll use the existing one here. Just say this and this and this. This function overkill, it is used for deleting any overlapping entity. Now you make p say multiple join p this guy. I'm just deleting away all the unnecessary items. Okay, so now we have our existing alignment ready. This line just okay. One more min pl back to this p. Copy this one. Go to this particular file. At this moment, I am switching off this my surface layer. Say no display. Paste it. After this particular thing is done, just convert it to an alignment. That is, you go to alignment section. Okay, this is not defining an alignment. This is just whatever the polyline is, I'm defining it as an alignment just to check the DTM. Create alignment. Please check the direction of the arrow. This should be on the direction in which your alignment, I mean in the direction of the alignment. Just say enter. Uncheck all these things. Just you need not to add any curves in between, and you do not need to delete this particular. Rename it as check or anything you wish. Just convert it to an alignment. Now Civil 3D has converted it to an alignment. What you need to do now in this particular drawing, you have an alignment and you have a surface also. If you see, there is a surface also. Go to profiles, create profile. From all of this, whatever I am doing in this particular drawing is not the creation of the alignment or the profile. It is just created to check the alignment. Select the this first option, create profile from surface. What it does is you have an alignment which is checked, you have a DTM, it just generates the ground points. Select these two, set the data limits. I mean, this is the start and end point of the alignment which you have drawn. You can change the limit, but let it be right there. Say add and just say draw it in profile. You will have another window which is like this. Don't do anything, just say next, next, next till you see and generate the profile anywhere in the. Now you see, that's very good. This is something, the grid is too dense. If you say, see, just right click on it, view profile properties, go to information, profile view. Horizontal axis and this vertical axis, you can change the grid spacing of this one. So I'm changing this to, say for example, 100 meters and then again 20 meters. It will change my grid. If you feel that you don't want this grid as I do, you need not to have this grid also. You just select the properties again, go to profile view, just go to this one, say display, go to display, and here you need to just switch off these layers, horizontal grid, major, minor, switch it off. You will not see the grid now. The drawing will be clear. Now you see this particular location. Another thing, what I would highly recommend you bring this to the original coordinate, so that if you can ID, it will give you the location, right? So for that, you just move this drawing. Now remember, this profile is 10 times exaggerated in Y scale. It is by default of Civil 3D. You can change it. I'll show you how to change it. But for the timing, you just remember this Y value is 10 times exaggerated. That means whatever you are getting, say for example, this 1284 to 1286, this is a difference of 2 meters, right? But if you check, if I draw a line in the approximate one, it will be around 20 meters. You see, that means this 2 meters, it is showing 20 meters. It's a 10 times exaggerated values. So to bring this one to its original coordinates, I select this one and say move command. Now, where I need to move, this must be my 0, 0. Okay, sorry. Move. Select this particular point and say the coordinate of it is 0, because the chainage is 0, and then the datum coordinate, it is 1284. So what 12840. Press enter. I know this is a bit fast for you guys, for the first timers, but I'll try to share this recorded video so that you can have. Now you see, this is an existing road, right? Your existing road should not be having like a kink like this. This is what you need to check. This means here the brake lines are not defined properly. So now it's time, you can select here and say open source drawing. Let the drawing open. Okay. Go to the location. What it is, just make an ID. It's 56 meters. Okay. Now you do one thing. You go to alignments, Okay, first create a reference of this alignment also so that you can know the change. I'm just this check alignment. I'm attaching it to this one. Go to the DTM file, refresh it so that it can have that alignment, check alignment in it. Now you can see this check alignment. Right click on it, create a reference. It's just creating a reference. Whatever details I need in this particular drawing, I need to have to see the what is the change. So for that, I'm just referencing this alignment and say okay. Just say okay. Now you see these points. Here you can see these triangulations are crossing your break lines. This should not be the case. So you go again to your surface, break lines, right click, and then say again add. Sometimes it happens, it doesn't take all of the break lines, even if you have defined them. Rename it whatever you want. Just say proximity and again select these lines. Select OK. The moment you see now no triangulation line is crossing, you need to check this drawing. Like this, you can see some of them are crossing. Again say add whatever it is, say proximity, and then select these lines. Select this line. The moment you are done with this, save this one, and then you will see when you go to this DTM check line, synchronize the data. You see all of these kings are gone. Now I have not done for the entire alignment. When you are doing, you need to check for the entire alignment. But you see, the moment you rectify your break lines, the kings will be gone, most of them. And this should be the case in the existing road also. We have traveled in the existing road, and this doesn't have a king sort of thing in the in current scenario. So that should reflect your survey data, unless you are going for an realignment or something. The existing road doesn't have these kings. So the moment you are satisfied with your profile of this particular DTM, that it is getting okay, then you save the drawing, and then we see for the cross sectional parts. Okay, so this is longitudinally the data is okay. Now you need to see the cross sections. For that, you go here, create sample lines, right click, and you will see a message like this to select the alignment if you are having n number of alignments. But here we are having only one alignment, so I'll select this one, say okay. It will open up these sample line groups, and it will show you that it is sampling which data. So the only data which you have is this DTM data. So just say okay, then you will see another message like this. And here you just need to select by range of station. Okay, so this is something which you need to manually select, that at this point I need to sample. But what I'll sample it for an interval, a specific interval for the entire alignment. So just say this start, it is true or false. It just, I mean, this means from start it is true. That means it will start from 0. If you make it false, you can start it from any other change which as your wish. But I'll keep this version as true. I'll check it for 40 meters on left and for 40 meters of right. This should be your survey extent, and an increment of 20 meters. That is fine. Just say okay. It will create It will take a couple of minutes to create. Yes, it is done. Close this one. Now if you see your alignment, you see these are the sample lines which has been created. Okay, now you need to draw the cross section. Okay, first save the drawing, then again go to sections, create multiple section views. In this window, don't do anything, just say next. Here just say draft, and then say next, then say next. I don't need anything else, just generate your cross section somewhere here. Now see this line reflects the cross sections of the drawing. Okay. What you need to do is you need to go section by section and check whether it is reflecting your existing road or not. Like this one, it seems that it is okay. This one is your existing. For if I check this from point this to this, it's around 8 meters. 8 meters is approximately the carriageway of this particular road, and this is something which they have created a ditch on both sides, and this material have their substituted in this area. So this cross section looks fine. So you need to check, inspect all of these cross sections, that it should not have something which is like just a minute, like this. It should not have something like this or something like this in the drawings. So you need to check each and every cross section for this one, and if there is, you need to go back to your DTM, rectify it. So once you are satisfied with your cross sections and your profile, then your DTM is ready for being worked on. So this completes your DTM part. Okay, there are many things which you will come up when you are, you will do the actual work. So if you have any issues, I'll give you some time to work on this one. Now, just please tell me one thing: whether I should continue on the alignment, or you work to, you want to practice the DTM first, and then we can have another sessions for alignment and separate sessions for profile as well. Please respond back in the chat window, or we'll close this for this session now. Okay. So this seems that what I think is you should first try this DTM, and we can have another session for the alignment as well as the profiles. But please respond back, and if you have any issues, just bring me back. Then we can arrange another session. Okay, then this much for today. Thank you for joining. Any questions?
We only want to thank you for the time you spared for us. And
Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
yes, our network has not been good. I think we shall improve when we watch the video again.
Okay, I'll actually, I am also recording this session. I'm quite not sure because this is what I am doing for the first time. There's recording session, so I'll try to circulate all the links with this recorded session if it is possible, and hopefully it will be. So you can go through this one
Yes.
and you can try this DTM part. I'll share you all the attendees the respective design, I mean data for this particular project, whatever 20 kilometers, and you just try it on first the DTM part. Once we are okay with the DTM,
But,
then we can go to the alignment as well as profile.
okay, but what is DTM in full?
Okay, so you see someone has answered already. Who is this one?
It's
James.
digital terrain model.
Yeah, that's the one. I mean,
Okay.
who is speaking? Is it Derek?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, thank you, Derek, for your answers, and that's the correct thing. It's the DTM, means digital terrain model, digitalized terrain model, and
Okay.
you will have something which is similar to that. That is DEM. You will see here. This is uh, what is called digital elevation model. Okay, so both are somewhat similar thing, and this is tin. This is another format in which whatever surface you create, that's a tin surface. That is triangulation irregular network. Okay, so that's the different terminologies
Okay.
which we use, but both all of them are same thing. Okay, only tin is
Thank you.
something which is triangulated network. Anyway, so if you have any other queries, you can ask, or else we can end this session.
I think we shall even share more using mails as we discover more.
Okay, sure. Okay then. Have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank
Nice
you.
time too.